sure most of you guys know what BYME is, but BYME stands for Boston's Young Muslims Engaging, and we've been running events for 3 years now. We're a teen-led, adult-supported organization, and we do events almost every month for teens about like identity and judgment and things that they encounter. And this year's theme was career exploration. So thank you guys for coming and welcome. So today's theme is 180, and the panelists here that you're going to meet and get to talk to have all started off in one thing and ended up working in something very different or going back to school. And I'm sure most of you guys have felt like you wanted to study one thing, but then like the next second felt like you'd like to study something very different. And so it's possible to do both or to jump around. Each person is going to share their stories, so you'll learn more about them, but I'm going to tell you a little bit quickly about what they studied. And during their, while they're sharing their stories, feel free to write down your questions on the Post-it notes that you have, and then you can pass them up forward, and we'll use them for something else. Cool? All right. So this lovely lady over here is Nuzhat Khan. She went to BU for engineering, and she now currently works within strategy for her current company. This is Hisham Mabrouk. He went to Harvard studying electrical engineering and computer science, and he works for a tech company doing management consulting. All right. This is Salman Hussein. He's a researcher and writer and secretly a rapper. And he recently graduated from McGill University, and now he's a research assistant at Brigham and Women's Hospital doing clinical and quality analysis research. And this is Ahmad Ismail. Ahmad Ismail is currently a software developer at ThoughtBot. He graduated college with degrees in finance and economics. All right. So first, we would like you guys to just essentially share your story. Tell us like what was your first major that you picked in college. Why did you pick it? And like how did you discover your passion or what you wanted to do?
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Amr Ismail. So the path that I took, 10th grade high school, I wanted to be an astrophysicist. I loved the space and I loved studying solar systems. And I was just, my free time was spent just like looking at the galaxies and understanding how they worked and all that stuff. 11th grade was my first economics class, and that's when the financial crisis happened. And so I chose that as my major going into college. I made a really interesting mistake when entering college. So I got into Suffolk University in the liberal arts school. But then I was like, I don't want to do liberal arts. I want to do like finance and economics. And I got into UMass Boston as well. At the time, I had no idea you can actually transfer between colleges. So I was like, I'm going to go to UMass Boston because I got into Suffolk Liberal Arts and not what I wanted to do. But then when I got into UMass Boston, I realized I had actually gone to liberal arts in UMass Boston, and I was like, crap, what did I get myself into? So then I studied economics. Second year in, I wanted to do investment banking, and so I began following the stock market on a daily basis. Began reading like different finance books and investing books. Towards the end, I wasn't really interested in it anymore. And then I went back to economics because that was kind of just like, I knew it already and I was just like, I don't know what else to do, so I'll go back to what I originally had planned. And then my final semester at college, there's this video that came out that said everyone should learn how to code. And it had like Bill Gates and other people who started different companies. And they were talking about software engineering. So that started my interest. I began doing different tutorials online like Code Academy and other things. And then I got more interested into it. So I figured I just finished college. Probably best time to switch careers at this point because I have no other job. Like I don't have a job and I don't have any responsibilities. So just I took a couple of months off. Went to this like intensive 10-week course to learn about like fundamentals of computer science. Then 2 months after that, I had interviewed at like 11 different companies and all rejected me. And then a friend of mine said you should check out this company called RBM Technologies. I knocked on their door, said I wanted to work there. They interviewed me and offered me an internship. 3 months after that, they promoted me to junior software engineer. Was there for a year, and then recently went over to Thoughtbot, which is my current job. So yeah.
Assalamu alaikum, my name is Salman. So growing up, I really wanted to be a professional tennis player, so I trained a lot for that. And then in my senior year of high school, I actually had a collapsed lung, so I really had to reevaluate what I wanted to do because it was no longer an option for me to be a professional athlete. So I went to college unsure what I wanted to study, but my favorite class in high school was environmental science. I took that my senior year, and my teacher for that class was my favorite teacher, and it was really inspiring seeing her every day and how passionate she was about what she did. And I was always really interested in nature and like the different types of plants and stuff, and climate change. Is really interested in that too. So I thought maybe I'll just major in environmental science. So I gave it a shot, and I really liked it in college. But as I was doing that, I realized I was avoiding learning about health sciences after my collapsed lung. And I realized that just by trying to forget about something that happened to me wouldn't make me feel better about it. I really needed to do something about it to make myself feel better. So after my second year of college, I started volunteering at a hospital in Montreal where I went to school. And I was really drawn to an opportunity to give back to other people. And so I really enjoyed volunteering at a hospital. And I never thought that I would be able to do that after what I went through. So then I sort of changed my focus and started pursuing health sciences and hoping to go into a career in that. And eventually, after graduation in June, I just got a job with the Brigham and Women's Hospital. So now I'm doing like medical kind of research. And I'm really grateful for, even though it was a very difficult thing to go through in high school, I'm very grateful that I went through that shift because it allowed me to find a more fulfilling career and something that was more, something that would benefit other people rather than just myself. So that's my story.
Assalamu alaikum everyone, my name is Hisham. I went to high school in Sri Lanka. I went to British school, and the plan was to go to England for my undergraduate studies. I was really interested in robotics and artificial intelligence when I was in high school, so the plan was to go and study electrical engineering. But it so happened that I had funding issues. I didn't get enough of a scholarship to go to England, so I took a year out and I applied to the US, hoping for a full ride. Alhamdulillah, I got it, so I came to Harvard. And since I was there, Harvard is a liberal arts college, I wanted to try many different things. So I did experiment academically and also professionally. Academically, I was still very interested in robotics, so I took a lot of classes in engineering, but I also took classes in economics. I studied Spanish and Czech. I took philosophy, Native American history. I tried a bunch of things that I wouldn't have had the chance to try had I gone to British University. Professionally, I experimented a bit as well. I started out doing biomedical research, so I did some work around de novo sequencing, if you have that background. I worked for an architecture firm in New York. The firm, I think they designed the Millennium City in London, and they also built the Broncos Stadium. So they were very well established, and I got a chance to work with really cool architects. Then I ended up getting a fellowship to go work in a field outside of my field declared major, if you will. So I took that opportunity to work in investment banking in London. So that was a fantastic experience. After that, I thought, hey, everyone from Harvard is going to Wall Street, so I'll go try that. So I tried that as well and did not like it at all. And after college, I went into management consulting. So I am still a management consultant, but I've somewhat figured out a way to do that within technology now. So that's my background.
Assalamu alaikum. Just want to thank you for letting me be on the panel. I'm honored to be here with you guys today. So I think in the program, it kind of tells part of my story. So I started with engineering, thought I wanted to do that. Hated all my classes, but had internships and really liked those. So that would be kind of my first piece of advice to you guys, is to try to get internships in whatever field you might want to study in. And started out working for IBM as a consultant. Really enjoyed that. I got to travel the world a couple of years. Then I had my own consulting company. And then this was when The Apprentice was on. I don't know if you guys remember that show with Donald Trump. So I was like, I could totally do that and start doing other things. So in addition to the consulting company, I had a car dealership for 4 or 5 years. I started flipping real estate, which is buying properties and renovating them and turning them around. Did that for like 4 or 5 years, and then realized that it was exhausting. I didn't necessarily, I'd been consulting for quite a few years, and I wanted to think about what I wanted to do next. I wanted to get some international exposure, so I went to Jordan and studied Arabic there for a couple of years at Qasid Institute. Really enjoyed that. It was a great experience, but got a little homesick, wanted to come back home. Most of my family's in the Northeast, New York, New Jersey area. I lived in Atlanta at the time, went back to Atlanta, didn't really look for opportunities here. I went back and got my MBA in Atlanta. I was working at UPS at the time, so working full-time and going to school in the evenings. Got my MBA in strategy consulting, and then the current company I'm working for now. And I was interviewing when I was doing consulting interviews, but I love consulting, but I was getting a little tired of the travel every week, especially since I'm always the one that gets like randomly selected at the airport, so I was getting a little bit old. But I got this opportunity to be at this company where I can do internal consulting. So I was in a rotational program where I could rotate out every 6 months. And so I was just my last rotation was in Seattle, and I got to live out there for 6 months and experience that. And I just got back to Boston. I'm doing internal consulting now, strategy and consulting. So it's basically, we do a lot of acquisitions at my company, and so it's helping them figure out, we just bought a company in Malaysia and one in Mexico. Would this be a good fit? What are some of the things we look at? What does the market look like? So. And the reason I was in a movie was that along the lines, I thought that maybe I wanted to do acting. So I tried that for a few years. He's laughing at me. So I was an extra, but, it just wasn't a good fit. But I really enjoyed the experiences, and I felt like I learned a lot along the way.